London on October 1st, 1872. Phileas Fogg is a West Indian gentleman and bachelor living in solitude at No. 7 Surrey Road, Bullingdon Garden. Describes his real wish is for the £30. Mr. Fogg, whose countenance is described as record in action, leads a modest life which habit carries out with mathematical precision. Very little can be said about Mr. Fogg. Social right understands that he is a member of the Bristol Club. Mr. Fogg had a first man by the name of John Parker, who is about 30 years old, and a liquor man. Later, on that day, in the Reform Club, Fogg gets involved in an agreement over an article in the Daily Telegraph, starting that with the opening of a new railway station in India. It is now possible to travel around the world in 8 days. He escaped over the first £20,000 from his fellow club members, which he will visit if he makes it around the world in 8 days. Accompanied by Monster Parker, he reached London by train on October 2nd, 1873, and it is due back at the Reform Club at the same time as the day later on December 21st. Fogg and Parker were still in town while disembarking in Egypt. They are watched by a Scotland Yard detective named Fitz, who has been discharged from London in search of a bank robber because Fogg happened to answer the description of the bank robber. This mistake Fogg for the criminal, since he cannot secure a warrant in town. He got on board the steamer conveying the travelers to Bombay. During the voyage, he became acquainted with Parker without revealing his purpose on the voyage. Fogg promised the engineer a likely ride if he gets them to Bombay early. Days of 2 days ahead of schedule. After reaching India, they take the train from Bombay to Calcutta about half-day. There Fogg learned that the Daily Telegraph newspaper article was wrong. The railroad ended at Krabi and started again 15 miles further on at Allahabad. Fogg started by an elephant here a guide and start towards Allahabad. During the ride, they come across a cross-section in which a young Indian woman, Uda, is left to a century to be satisfied by the process of the tree the next day by Brahmin. In the young woman is wrapped with the smoke of opium and hemp and is obviously not so involuntarily the traveler decides to rescue her. They follow the cross-section to the side, while Parker secretly tracks the place of Uda deceased confessed on the funeral pyre on which she is to be burned the next morning. During the ceremony, he then rises from the pyre, crying off the teeth, and carries the young woman away. Due to this incident, the 2 days then early hours, but Fogg showed no sign of regret. The traveler then hastened on to catch the train at the next railway station. Shortly Uda reached them at Calcutta. They can finally board a steamer going to Hong Kong. Fitz, who had secretly been following them, had Fogg and Parker arrested in Calcutta. However, They jumped Bill and picked his foot. Two followed them to Hong Kong. On board, he showed himself to pass the two, who is delighted to meet again his traveling companion from the area. In Hong Kong, it turned out that Uda, distant relatives in whose care they had been planning to leave her, had moved property to Holland, so they decided to take her with them to Europe. Meanwhile, still without a warrant fixed in Hong Kong, as his license to arrest her on the side around this time had to become convinced that it is a spy from the reform cross trying to see if Foxy really going around the world. However, it confused in Hatsuchu, who does not believe in love and remain convinced that his mother is not a bank robber. To prevent Hatsuchu from informing his mother about the premature departure of Danny's widow, it gets Hatsuchu drunk and dropped him in an opium den. In his descent, Hatsuchu still managed to catch the steamer to Yokohama, but neglected to inform Fox. Fox, on the next day, discovered that he had missed his connection. He got instead of a vessel that will take him to Yokohama. He fired a pilot's boat that take him and Uda to Shanghai, where they catch a steamer to Yokohama. In Yokohama, they go on a search for Hatsuchu, believing that he may have arrived there on the original boat. They find him in a circus trying to earn the star for his homeward journey. Granted, the four boats, a steamer trotting them, crossed the Pacific to San Francisco. This promised Hatsuchu that now, having left British soil, he will no longer try to delay Fox's journey, but later support him in getting back to Britain as fast as possible to minimize the amount of his share of the stolen money that Fox has spent. In San Francisco, they took on a trans-American train to New York, encountering a number of obstacles along the way. A massive herd of racing crossing the track, a failing suspension lane, and most destroying. The train is attacked and overcome by the warrior after a whole race, including the locomotive from the carrier. Hatsuchu is kidnapped by the Indians, but Fox rescued him after some American soldiers volunteered to help. They continue by a willpower lake over the snowy valley to Omaha, where they get a train to New York. Once in New York, and having missed the departure of their ship by 45 minutes, Fox started looking for an alternative for crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. He fired a small steamboat destined for water. However, the captain of the boat refused to take the company to Liverpool, whereupon Fox consented to be taken to board for the price $2,000 per passenger. On the voyage, he brought still to mutiny and checked course for Liverpool against Hurricane Bill and going on full steam all the time. The boat ran out of fuel after a few days, stopped by the boat at a very high place from the captain. shooting him thereby, and had the trail burned on moving path to keep up the speed. They continued around at Town, Iceland in time towards London via Dublin, Ireland before the deadline. However, one of the key points is that Warren and Armstrong, a translated their misunderstanding is clear up. The actual bank robber had been caught 3 days earlier in Edinburgh. In response to this, Fox, in a rare moment of impulse consciousness, who immediately fall to the ground. However, Fox had missed the train and returned to London 5 minutes later, anxious that he had lost the wager. In his London house the next day, he apologized to Uda for being encouraged him, since he now had to live in poverty and cannot financially support her. Uda suddenly confessed that she loved him and asked him to marry her, which he gladly accepted. He called for Patrick to notify the Reverend, and the Reverend had still learned that he is missing in the day, which he takes to be Sunday, but which actually is Saturday, because the party tolerance is thereby gaining a full day on their journey around the globe by crossing the international deadline. He did not notice this after landing in North America, because the only phase of the trip that depended on physical detaching place of Finland there was the Atlantic crossing, and he had his one trip for that. Attitude hurried back to Fox, who immediately set off for the Lincoln Club. There he arrived just in time to win the wager. Fox married Uda, and the journey around the world is complete. Passenger and Fox carried only a carpet bag with only 2 shirts and 3 pairs of stockings each, a Macintosh, a traveling coat, and a steel pair of shoes. The only food they carried is bread chow, continental wine wings, beef slices, and general guide with constrained timetable of trade and freedom. He also carried a load of English spaniels about 2,000 pounds. He assured this 20 guineas once at of this. He soon discovered